Hello, I'm Paul, and this is my self-presentation, as you can see. Hope you enjoy. So, you were probably asked by your science teacher to know the function of a cell, because why else would you have to know the function of a cell? Okay, no, in all honesty, the cell is a living building block that is composed of parts that allow it to function as a function. So, essentially what I'm trying to say here is its parts allow it to function as a function, and that function is to be a living building block. So that would be the function of a cell. So don't get confused. This is an animal cell. This is the mitochondria, which releases energy from stored food. This is the cell membrane, which lets things in and out of the cell. This is the cytoplasm, this liquid around here, which is where chemical reactions happen and where everything is located in the cell, is in the cytoplasm. This is the nucleus, as you can see, sort of melted, but this controls the activities of the cell. So this is an animal cell. Yeah, that's pretty much it about the animal cell. Moving on. Okay, this is a plant cell. Plant cell, as you can see. This outside part is the cell wall. It gives support and structure to the cell. This is the cell membrane. It lets things in and out of the cell. This is the nucleus. It controls the activities of the cell. The mitochondria releases energy from stored food. The chloroplasts generate energy from sunlight, and this jelly-like liquid is where the chemical reactions and where things in the cell are. So, the thing to note, the cell wall and the chloroplast are not located in an animal cell. They are only in a plant cell. Everything else is the same besides those two. Moving on. So one day, you're like, how does the structure of the cell wall and cell membrane help them do their jobs? Well, the cell wall is like a barrier. It helps the cell have support and gives it structure, making it strong. The membrane, on the other hand, is flexible like a rubber band, allowing items to easily enter and leave the cell at their leisure. So, let's move on. What is a plant cell like? Well, Jimmy, a plant cell is kind of like a factory. The network of a factory controls the operations of the machines like the nucleus controls the activity of a cell. The wall of the factory gives it support and structure, just like the cell wall in a plant cell. The doors of a factory are like the cell membrane of a plant cell. They both let things in and out. The power plant of a factory is like the mitochondria of a plant cell. It releases energy from materials in the power plant, just like the mitochondria release energy from the stored food in the plant cell. The floor of the factory is like the cytoplasm of a plant cell. They both are located throughout either the factory or the cell, and that's where all the machines and or the organelles are located in either structure. The chloroplasts are like the solar panels in a factory. The solar panels generate electricity or energy from sunlight, just like the chloroplasts do. Yet the chloroplasts do use photosynthesis, but they both use sunlight, which is something in common. So, in my opinion, a plant cell is much like an animal cell. Well, of course a plant cell is like an animal cell, but it's also like a factory. That's what I meant to say.